Okay, thank you very much. So I'm Keith Bodnerchuk, President and CEO of Cosa Resources. We are a uranium exploration company with assets in the prolific Athabasca Basin in Saskatchewan, Canada. We are a somewhat new story, but we're really led by a team with a track record of discoveries and really unlocking a lot of value, specifically in the Athabasca Basin itself. I will be making some forward-looking statements. So recently, as of Monday last week, we completed a deal with Denison Mines where we've acquired 70% interest in 3 fantastic projects in the Athabasca Basin. Denison Mines has now become our largest and most strategic shareholder, owning just under 20% of us. They've put members on our board and they've put up their hands to participate in a future financing for us for up to $1 million. Denison, if you don't know, is a leading development company in the Athabasca Basin. They're a $2 billion market cap. They have a very healthy treasury, and they're really pioneering the ISR technology into the Athabasca Basin. And the good news is that they had a whole bunch of really good exploration ground that they weren't going to get to this cycle. So it made a lot of sense for the two groups to come together where we can really advance these projects and they can maintain some exposure to it by owning 30% of these projects, but also owning 19.9% of us. So you'll see those names at the bottom there: NextGen, $5.6 billion, IsoEnergy, $530 million, Denison Mines, $2.4 billion, really large valuations. And all those valuations are underpinned by discoveries that they made in the Athabasca Basin in the past 15 years. Another thing they have in common is that our group played a role in all those during those times. Steve Blower was former VP Exploration of Denison Mines when they discovered Griffin, VP Exploration of IsoEnergy when they made the Hurricane discovery. Myself, I spent a lot of time at Denison and IsoEnergy. Craig Perry was a founder of NextGen and really the founding CEO of IsoEnergy. Andy Carmichael, also part of that IsoEnergy discovery team. So we've really had our fingerprints on a lot of the discoveries in the Athabasca Basin over the past 15 years, and we're looking to do that again with Cosa Resources. And keep in mind, all these companies are pre-cash flow, pre-revenue, and you can just see the valuations you can get from a discovery in the Athabasca Basin. So why is everybody running to the Athabasca Basin? It's really the world's most undisputed area to look for uranium. It has the highest grade deposits in the world. It has the largest uranium mines in the world. Just for perspective, the average grade of a deposit outside of the Athabasca Basin is 0.2% uranium. The deposit we found during our time at IsoEnergy, the average grade is 34.5% uranium. Extremely bonanza grade, some of the most valuable rock on the entire planet, which is why you see the valuations of those companies and which is why you see everybody flocking to this area of the world to really take advantage of it as this uranium boom continues. So the Denison projects themselves, these are the 3 ones we acquired. We will have a 70% interest. It's important to note that this is an area that's been really controlled by the majors for about 20 years, Cameco, the French government, Orano, and really Denison. And so for us to be gaining access to these areas, that aren't tired assets, they haven't seen a lot of work, they're right next door to world-class deposits, is a huge win for us and really a focus for us going forward. So Murphy Lake North, this is our first project I'm going to talk about. It's located in a terrific area. It's right next door to the Hurricane deposit, which is the highest grade indicated uranium resource in the world. It was also conveniently found by our management team in 2018 during our time at IsoEnergy. So it's a very familiar area for us. We're going to be drilling it here. We just announced today that we will be drilling it in February. It's only had single drill holes in it. Denison never got around to exploring it because they're busy advancing their Phoenix deposit into production. And so it's one where I said we had to jump at the opportunity. And you look at this, the grades around here, even the La Roque Lake zone is 30% over 7 meters. Yelka is 10% over 3.3 meters. These are world-class grades and just goes to show you how juiced up this area is with uranium, and how if we're able to have a significant hit here, what it could do to our company. And so we jumped at the opportunity to be back in this area again and getting another chance to explore. And importantly, the biggest catalyst for any exploration company is drilling, and we'll be drilling this project in February. I'll touch on the Darby project too. This is another one we got from Denison. It's right next to Cameco's project where they have the Cigar Lake mine, the world's largest uranium mine. Like I said, these are projects where Denison wasn't able to get around to working them because their dollars are going to use advancing their Phoenix deposit. And so it's an area where it's been just enough drilling where it hasn't really killed off any areas, but it's really painting a picture of what's happening underneath here. And we like to describe these projects as being discovery ready. They're ready to walk up drill targets. We don't need to spend more money on geophysics. And this is another important project that we'll be exploring here in 2025, because anytime you get a chance to explore next to Cigar Lake, you take that opportunity. As our VPX likes to say, the easiest way to find uranium is next to uranium. And so that's why you look in these areas where you have this potential string of pearls. We also have a massive land package of 100% owned stuff. We managed to piece together a huge amount of hectares in a really competitive market. Ursa project is one that we really focused on 2024. We're now pivoting to focus on the Denison projects because they are right next door to world-class deposits. But why is this important? This looks like a lot of projects. What are we going to do with them? Well, I'll show you this. This is the Athabasca Basin in January 2020. Those orange shapes are all the projects owned by companies at the time. This is 2024. The race is on. There's dozens of companies coming to this area, and they're willing to pay significant amount to get a piece of that. And these are our projects, conveniently located, even in a competitive market. We managed to piece together a really strategic land package. And as we continue to upgrade our portfolio, we can now move off some of these, right? We have 6, 7 strong projects, and some of the ones that we're not going to get to, we can really form joint ventures, we can divest them to other groups and really do value accretive opportunities because we were at an advantage here and managed to piece together absolutely terrific projects. So what's next? I touched on this. We are drilling at Murphy Lake. We're going to be drilling next to the interpreted strike extension of the Hurricane deposit geology. This is the biggest catalyst. This is shallow drilling. It's going to be very cost effective, and importantly, it's fully funded. We're talking this will be about an $800,000 program for 1,600 meters. The guys are already clearing the road to get in there right now, and so we will be drilling that here in February, and that is an extremely exciting point for us, considering we just closed that transaction last week with Denison. We're ready to go and ready to get drilling as fast as we can. So capital structure-wise, so Denison is now our largest shareholder, just under 20%. I'll draw attention to management advisors. So our group still owns 18%. We've been buying the entire time. We really continue to buy on market. We participate in every financing. And we do have a lot of funds and strategic investors involved. They still own about 24%. These are long uranium institutions, ones that we've happened to make a lot of money in the past during our times at ISO and NextGen and other places like that. So they are supporting us early on. And so we're sitting at about a $20 million valuation. Our treasury is in good shape here heading into this upcoming drill program. And so we have managed to keep a really tight share structure. So what's the opportunity? So everybody's asking, have they missed the uranium boom? You've seen Cameco at all-time highs. You've seen different development level companies, Denison, NextGen, all have huge valuations. And so people are asking, have we missed the uranium boom? Are we too late? And the answer is in that chart down there. You'll see that dark blue line. That is Athabasca Basin Explorers, sub 30 million market cap. They've actually gone down despite the uranium market really gaining momentum. And so that's where I advise is going to be that next area where you're going to see the leg up. As the capital, starts to leave those larger companies because they made their money there, they're going to start trickle down to these explorers. And really, Cosa's in a unique position in a sense where we do have that tight share structure. And if you look at that share price chart on the right, that shows what happened when we were at ISO Energy, where our stock went from 40 cents to $6.50 on the back of a discovery. So we're a group that's really created value even in a bad uranium market. And so we're kind of uniquely positioned where our last company we're involved with, that's our share price chart on the right. And we're in that zone where we haven't seen the tailwinds pick up yet in the uranium space. So the explorers are really going to have an opportunity here, I'd say over the next 24 months of this uranium boom, where they're going to start to play catch up to the developers and to the mining companies. So I just wanted to touch on more team members. I think I just wanted to show that, we've had a lot of success in the past, but I truly believe this is the strongest team we've had. I know Chad Sorba is another guy. He joined us from Denison as a technical advisor. He discovered their Phoenix and Griffin deposit. Justin Rodko, he was part of the ISO Energy Hurricane discovery. So it's really a team that loves making discoveries, is extremely passionate and almost obsessive about making that next great discovery. And this is the best version of the team that I've ever been a part of. So why Cosa? So I think when you look at a junior company, you want to kind of go through that checklist of why would I invest in them. Track record. So we have a team with a track record of unlocking tremendous amount of value. Access to capital. We do have that track record of being able to access capital. It's been further strengthened by Denison Mines transaction, where they put up their hand to be our lead order when we do need to tap the market. Skin in the game. We're a group that puts money in every financing. We buy shares on the market, and we still control 18% of this. And targets and upcoming catalysts. We're drilling here in the next few weeks. We have targets right next to the highest grade uranium deposit in the world. And so, I encourage you guys to follow our story. We'll be drilling here, lots of news flow, and thank you for your time.